Michelle, last time we did a little recording session just to explain about how she chose the estate agent and how the first step in deciding to put her property on the market. We then talked about the valuation process. So she had 3 people out to value the property. They gave her a figure of what her house or what they would look to achieve for her property. And then I thought it'd be really useful to explain, or for Michelle to share her experiences on the next steps. So how she found the sign-up process, what steps or what then happened to get her property to the point of marketing. So Michelle, you signed up, or you decided which agent to go with, ourselves, for the valuation. What did you experience next? So how did you sign up with the agent in the first instance?
So what I found really different this time was that with doing it through yourselves, you offered me the choice of either filling out or signing paperwork or doing it electronically through a portal, which for me was perfect. You know, that worked a treat, because I kind of think to myself, I can't keep printing papers off, my printer doesn't work, etc. Having electronic, it just solves
Going
that.
to the post office, scanning it in, uploading it.
Absolutely. For me, that absolutely solves that issue. But I was given a choice.
Yes.
You know, because often you're not given a choice. It's kind of, this is the way we do it, this is what's happening. So for me, that was a great big thumbs up. You know, it was electronic. I've got plenty of paperwork. I don't need any more. Thank you.
That's good. So you signed up then. So obviously we included the terms of business, which is what most agents would. We made sure to explain the process going forward. The appointment form was the form that you used to sign up. So it explained any additional costs. So, for example, for us, the only additional cost would have been if Michelle didn't have an energy performance certificate on the property. That's needed in order to market. And that would be with whatever agent you had chosen. Luckily enough, this one did have it. The house isn't that old. So Michelle didn't need that. So it was just a case of going through and understanding the sales, or like our agency fee. And I think as well, obviously you've bought and sold before, but it's remembering that actually you don't pay anything until the house goes through and completes. Absolutely. And it's actually, you agree the invoice at the end, but it's the solicitor, isn't it, that actually makes payment. So you don't see that money. It doesn't come out of necessarily your bank and things. So Michelle then signed up with us. What happened next? Do you remember what was the next steps? So
the next steps was to get the photographs done. You know, get the photographer around. But of course, you use a professional photographer. Like I said to you before, I'd been offered estate agents to take their own pictures. I'd been offered professional photographers at an extra charge that I'd have to pay up front for. But with yourselves, it was a case of it's included in the package. There was no if, but, whats and maybes, and you know, so it was pretty straightforward. So we just, when I called you up, agreed a time convenient to me that you could, or the photographer could come and photograph the house and take the measurements. And then of course you were then giving me, what I really love about you your company is you give choices. You know, I could have been here while you did it, or you could have been here with me, or you could have come whilst I wasn't here to have it done. I was given options, you know, and as a working mum with young children, it's nice to have options.
And I think, like you say, it's remembering, and we haven't forgotten that it's that juggling, like, is it unsettling at that point for the toddler to understand what's going on, bringing somebody into your home at that point?
Absolutely.
Have you got to keep things out of the way? There was so much, isn't there? So we like to, and the reason we use our photographer, and I fully believe, and I always have done in the professional photography, is because, like Michelle says, we can all come around, we've all got phones now. I strongly believe one of the biggest things needed to maximise the price of a property, and actually we achieved more than asking price on this one, didn't we? Is good photos. We all scroll through Rightmove. They all look the same. Nothing necessarily stands out. They all follow the same script. So by using a professional photographer, he's got the eye, but he's gone to college. He's gone and he's studied for that. That's his job. We've all got, you've heard people, hadn't you? And I remember you saying to us that we take good photos, is what the agents have said. If you don't mind me saying, our photos are great. That's fine, because they might go back to the office and lighten them up and edit and things. But I fully believe in actually to maximise. And when you saw the photos, and you've had this property on a few years
Yeah.
ago, didn't you, and actually taken it down. So obviously we can't share the comparison pictures, but Michelle you could, what was the
Massive difference.
yeah, what was you like when you saw the photos?
So one thing that I noticed from the previous pictures that I'd done, which weren't professional photographers, the pictures are distorted to make rooms look larger or your garden to look bigger. Because I remember, even not just from having my house on the market, when I was looking to view properties, I remember looking through Rightmove thinking, oh my goodness, they've got a massive garden. And when I get there, it's not so big, and then you realise the pictures are massively distorted to make it look brighter, sunnier, all that kind of stuff, So the pictures that I've seen on houses that I've viewed do not have a true representation. But one thing that I did like about your photographer was when he come round, he respected my home. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just a case of barge in, take a picture, he's got 10 minutes. He took his time, and where he felt perhaps something needed moving to make it look perhaps more presentable, or if my children had left their shoes in the middle of the room,
Yeah.
he would welcomely go over and move them.
Even like simple things that we don't see, for like toilet seat down. And I think,
Absolutely.
like you say, Ben lives local, the photographer we use, but we choose local people. He's got a young, and I think it's really important that you're not forgotten as a person, aren't you?
He was
And like
just
you say,
respectful, and he wouldn't just move over to the shoes. He would, suggest, oh, perhaps if we move the shoes, and then he would. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just.
It flowed.
Nice.
So we then had the photos, didn't we? So they came back like as soon as we get Ben or the photographer, that's then. We also spend a lot of time just naturally talking, and even at the first point of meeting, I think it's just nice. We always understand why you're selling, why what you're buying, what you're moving for, and naturally pick up bits then without you realising. We just have discussions, don't we? So it then becomes us to write the description on the property. But what did you notice when the photos and that come through? How was the photos and things presented to you? I believe a brochure was sent, wasn't it?
Yeah, again electronically, so I was able to view the photographs, the brochure, the description, what had been written about the property, and of course, without having obviously me agreeing to them, it wouldn't have been released. And it was just a simple online, but again, I was given the option to have it printed if I wanted to see it as a printed document. So I just clicked a button.
Clicked a link, approve or don't approve. Yeah. So one thing I've noticed is, and maybe that's been missed in the past, or not necessarily, or feels more of a process, as a signing thing, whereas we integrated quite at ease, is in order to market a property, there's all that like we have to describe it accurately, we have to make sure that the owner's aware of that. So we ensure the brochure then has a covering email just to explain that in order to market the property, you have to agree the description, anything we've missed out, because also it's your home. We have to make sure you're comfortable, but also it's not described inaccurately. So, and then it's not a case of signing, because then it's kind of like if you agree to this, or what do you want changing, it's just a simple click of a link, wasn't it? Approve or not approve.
Yeah.
And as soon as that's approved, we then push a button and it's on the portals.
Straight away it went on. I was amazed at how quickly you did it, because I've been previously told it takes about 14 days. So when you said to me, you've approved it, it will be on the next morning.
Like, yeah, it's real time.
I questioned you, didn't I? I remember saying to you, how do you do that? Because I've been told it takes 14 days.
Yeah.
And the reason I've been told it takes 14 days is because, as with consumer law, a consumer's got 14 days to change their mind.
Yeah.
So they're not going to start off as told they've got 14 days, so they're not going to start working on your property for 14 days in case you change your mind. Because if you do change your mind, they've done all that work to no avail.
And I think what you've heard and you've seen in the past, I remember you saying, is everyone gets the 14 days to cancel. It's in our terms of business. It's fully explained to you. The difference is we fully and explicitly explain it. You've got the cancellation form if you choose to. Then there's a fee maybe if you decided to cancel, and we'd market it and lots of different things. But actually, I like to... You do have 14 days to change your mind, but also I'd hate for you to feel tied in. And we've had a few recently where nothing's overly wrong, but actually the agent hasn't proactively done something. So it's taken the 14 days. You're not seeing their work or anything. Like,
No.
I'm not even saying it's in everyone's best interest at that time to list straight away, because you can all do this pre-marketing and pre-things. But I do feel there's, within that 14 days, you should see some work. And actually, to not get a lot and then it starts. We've had a few lately where people have missed out on the cancellation. They would have cancelled because they've not seen enough. Nothing majorly wrong, but actually then they're tied into long periods, and that's really important, I think, to see that we, even within that 14 days, we were actively working with you and moving things forwards, but not in an aggressive, like, we've got it situation. It's to say, right, we understand your needs, your wants, why you're, but also saying you're not in a rush. You still will not move until you've found your ideal property. And I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Like, it's that chicken and egg situation, and we've had that conversation. Do you sell? Do you put it on the market? Do you not? But you had a terrible experience trying to find your property.
I did.
And I remember the agent you're buying off saying to me, that's a different story completely, and lots of stories all in one. But when you finally found something after weeks of missing out and the frustrations, I remember it was a Saturday morning. I remember the agency ringing us up saying, Michelle's now found a property, and I went, I am so pleased. That is the best news I've had. And it's not about that, it's because of the stresses you'd had. There's nothing we had on. And the agent said, really, you're not, the house isn't through you. And I said, it doesn't need to be. It's actually about your experiences, and it was the best news. And I remember the agent saying, you've got, and what did they say when they rang you up? It was
I remember he said to me, I don't normally praise agents. He says, in fact, I don't normally like them. He said, but you've got a gold mine with your agents there.
And it was I remember it, and it's moments like that really do, like, honestly, like, melt, because we've gone on this journey with you, and we've given you out, but ultimately, if the house isn't with us and it won't be all the time, but it wasn't nice, was it, trying to find that next property?
Very traumatic. But I think you was equally as happy that I was when I find a house. And again, that's just because you've come on my journey with me.
Yeah.
And that's, it kind of feels like I can trust you. You relate to me. You trust me.
And I know you was worried about the bottom of the chain and messing up, and it was for us to explain. And because we keep up to date and we keep in contact with everyone weekly, no one felt the rush. Like, I would hate for. We've had a few people lately that feel rushed and they're going, oh, I haven't found my next one. It has to be the right thing, didn't it? You still had to find your right house, and I noticed that, but I'm really pleased. So the property photographer came out. The description was written by us, and we'd obviously really got to know your property. And I think the descriptions are slightly different if they can be, just to give it a bit more. We've all gone through the portals and scrolled down and added a bit of character and personality even to the listing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The brochure then was sent across with the pictures, with the descriptions, the room sizes, and then it was just a click of the approval. Then that was it. It was on Rightmove. It was on all the other portals. We actively had the Facebook video, do you remember, outside?
I do, yes.
And the feedback with that was just, it added personality. We all scroll through, but do you know what? If you've got a video in your newsfeed going, do you know what? I really like this. I like the area, the house, this. And I think we had viewings quite quickly, didn't we? A lot of them, yeah. So I think that's it for this one, just to explain about what happens next. Obviously, we'll any questions we will always explain and go into more detail, but I think the next time we'll discuss is about the viewings and how you accepted offers and things. So thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.